Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about business credit. I've just recently took my dormant business active, opening up a bank account, which we can talk more about in later videos as well. Opened up a debit card for that account. Got myself a DUNS number, which is with Duns and Bradstreet. The reason why I got a DUNS number, for all of you who don't know what a DUNS number is, it's essentially an indicator of how good you are with credit, but on a business side. So unlike a credit score, your DUNS number is going to give you a Paydex score. And the Paydex score goes from 0 to 100. Typically 80 would be really good, 90 is great, and 100 of course is esteemed. 100 would mean that you're paying your bills as soon as you receive an invoice. 90 would mean you're paying your bills as they come. 80 would mean you pay your bills every 30 days. A 70 would mean you pay your bills after about 15 days after. 60 would mean you pay your bills about 22 days after. And then a 50 would mean you pay your bills a whole 30 days later. 40 is about every 60 days after receiving an invoice, and then so on and so forth, right? Most companies would like to be at an 80, which means they pay their bills every 30 days after the invoice is received, and not 30 days after, which would bring you back down a peg, right? So you want to be at an 80 or higher. Most businesses want to be in business for at least 5 years. My business is about almost 3 years old now. And so I'm slowly growing my business rather than trying to shoot for the moons and aim for the stars. I'm not acquiring someone else's business to get that length of time. I'm just simply building my business from the ground up, just like I built my own personal credit history. And that's the route that I'm going. That's the route that I'm taking. Your Paydex score can also increase with other factors, such as how many employees you have, how much cash is accessible to you, things of that nature. And this is going to be a pretty extensive video that I'm giving you on business, because I'm giving you all that I've gone through in the last 2 to 3 weeks. Again, I don't like to talk about nothing that I'm not doing myself, right? And so when I looked at a bank account, there was actually 2 banks that I was looking at. One gives you a credit card with a 1.5% interest rate off rip, and you have no banking fees. I would have went with that bank, and I believe it's called Maximum, had I not already looked at another bank with no fees associated with it, just to get the ball rolling on that. And so I went with another bank with no fees. I won't say the name of the bank for my privacy reasons, but this bank also had no fees, and it gives you the option to open over 20 different accounts. And you can also give people debit cards within your bank. So I can give my subcontractors a debit card. I can give so-and-so a debit card, so-and-so a debit card, and everything is tied to my business. So now I'm able to dispense money through the business, and it is easily trackable, so the IRS understands exactly where I'm coming from. On top of that, why did I open up the business bank account? Well, I'm already having my real estate in my personal name, so I'm not really going to change that. I'm not going to transfer everything over and go through the hassle of doing that, but rather, I'm just going to ensure that my YouTube channel, my music channel, and anything that I do with government contracts will go through there. And yes, that's right, I said government contracts. I'm going to go over government contracts in the next video after this. So if you're watching this, the very next video, the next day, is going to be about government contracts, okay? So this is actually why I decided to go full throttle with the business, is because of government contracts, which I will cover in a later video. Now, my YouTube channel has been growing, although slowly, and my Rumble channel has had a lot of success. So for all of you who are not subscribed on Rumble and not following me on Rumble, my Rumble channel has had a lot of success. My Rumble channel has actually been paying me more than YouTube, and so I'll be using that revenue from my Rumble channel to support my business checking account. Although I have zero draft fees from the business checking account, I just want to have some cash in there so I don't overdraft for whatever reason, right? And of course, having a little bit of cash and then starting to have some recurring cash come into that business checking account is going to start to accumulate a little bit of statements, a little bit of this and that. And right now I only have the debit, no credit associated with my business bank account. And let's go over some of the processes and how I started this business. Okay, so I first initiated this business in 2020. The first thing I had to do was change the address of the business because I no longer lived where I lived. Once I changed the address, I went on sam.gov, which is the government contract site, and I started enlisting the business because I wanted to be a part of sam.gov. In the process, I had to go to the IRS website and get an EIN number. The reason I had to get an EIN number is so that my business wouldn't be under my social security number, but under the EIN number. I did that for a little bit more privacy and not having the business associated with my personal social security number. On top of that, I opened up an account with Duns & Bradstreet. Although it's not needed to do government contracts, I wanted the ability to grow my credit. And so with my business being somewhat young, I still wanted the ability to grow my credit. And so I opened up with Dun & Bradstreet. Dun & Bradstreet takes 30 days if you want to do the free service, and it takes about 48 hours if you're willing to pay about $250 to $500 to activate your account. Dun & Bradstreet Associates will try to upsell you. They'll give you a call and they'll see if you're interested in a lot of their opportunities, including marketing, which they offer for about $900 a year, right? So you can opt into their marketing if you're interested in that as well. Now, I opt in for the free DUNS number, which takes about 30 business days. On top of that, when applying for a bank and not having any information prior, it's going to take 2 to 3 business days to get approved from the bank. And so that holds up my ability to start to access these government contracts. As I'm registering, I have to pause every couple of days because not only do I not have my my bank information as of now, but I also had to wait for my EIN. I also have to wait for my DUNS number. I also had to wait to go through the sam.gov's process, which took about 3 to 5 business days before they even registered me. And then it took a couple of days for them to even find my entity. And so going through all of these processes, the one thing that I said I would not do is take a break. Because we all know human nature. As soon as we take a break is when everything starts to dissolve. I'm giving you all a ton of information right now, which I know is a lot. But a lot of these YouTubers, they'll break it up into like 20 videos and you will never get all this information in one place. So I'm giving you a lot of information right now, and I hope you rewatch this video as many times as you need to in order to understand what I'm telling you. It took me, not only did it take me 2 books, but it took me a ton of YouTube channel views, watching, to understand all that I was doing. And then by the time I even finished the book, I was already doing some things in the book that I had not even read yet, like getting my EIN number from the IRS, from irs.gov, right? So I was already moving ahead of the book that I was reading, and I just completed that book, and I made sure to complete it before I even came to you. As I'm doing this, it's already been about 2 weeks that I've been working on this business and getting things right and squared away so that I can be successful and be prepared and be highly have a business that's highly managed and serviceable. And so I'm not doing things half-heartedly. Now I'm at a point where I have to wait on these businesses to get back to me with all the information that I need, whether it's the bank, whether it's sam.gov, whether it's Duns and Bradstreet. I'm literally waiting on all three of them right now, right? Because they're all trying to get back to me with different pieces of information, with an approval from the bank that I just went with a Duns number from Duns and Bradstreet, so that I can give that to sam.gov and then start to do these contract purchases. Why do I want credit? Well, that's a great question. There are several banks that will give a business a huge line of credit. For example, Chase Bank will give you $100,000 to a business. Obviously, that business has to meet certain requirements. One thing that interests me when I saw that Chase Bank was giving $100,000 to businesses was that it was 0% interest for 18 months. That had always stuck with me in my head. Wow, what would I do with $100,000 and no interest for 18 months? I just talked about certificates of deposits in the last video that are almost at 6% return. Imagine getting a loan from a bank for 18 months with no interest, and you can just stuff that in a CD for 18 months at 6% interest. You give the bank back their money, and you have $7,000 to $8,000 of cash for no reason. You just got that for free, $8,000. There are a lot of people who are working right now that can't get a bonus for that much. But all you did was open up a business, have good credit. You got $100,000 for 18 months, gave it back with no interest, and you made $8,000. When you see me in Dubai, when you see me in Puerto Rico, just know I only spent $4,000 and I still got $4,000 making me more money. And it's not to brag, it's not to boast, it's just to tell you that money makes money and you can make as much as you want. You just gotta know what you're doing, okay? So when I saw for the last 2 years, it might have been just 1 year. For the last year, when I saw Chase Bank is offering $100,000, first off, that's only one bank for an 18-month loan, right? There are other banks that will give you $50,000 right now. Right now, no credit, no nothing. 0% interest. You go to 10 banks, you get $500,000. And I just said a CD as one option because right now that just seems like the less risk diverse play to make, where you can literally make $50,000 in 18 months. But if you're thinking outside the box, if you're thinking about really building a business from the ground up, you can start a cleaning company, you can start a management company, you can start a servicing company, you can open up a food business, right? Now it depends on your experience, it depends on your knowledge of the area, obviously depends on location, depends on what you're capable of doing and what you're capable of sustaining. But there's a ton of money to be made in this market right now, especially when it's going through a downturn and you have less competition, as I stated in the last video, due to high interest rates. So again, scared money don't make no money. High risk, high reward. But again, knowledge is power. The more you know, the better off you are. And so I've just expanded my mind. I said, I can't just focus on real estate. I can't just focus on stocks. Yes, those things will make me rich and richer. But starting a business and knowing it and understanding it and running it to perfection is what is going to set me leaps and bounds above anything else. I just told you how to make $8,000 in 18 months with none of your own money. You can't even really do that in real estate. After your rents, after servicing electrical repairs, AC repairs, sink repairs, kitchen repairs, all that stuff, you might be lucky to walk around with 5,000 afterwards, and then you got to pay taxes on that. I'm talking about a free 8,000 with no risk involved. Like this is business. Right? Like this is what we're accustomed to. When you give that $100,000 back to Chase Bank, they'll say, "Thank you, sir. We trusted you. You did the right thing. We're willing to give you the 100,000 again. This time at this percent." You understand? What if you had 5 businesses and you did the same thing? Now instead of $8,000, you got 8, 16, 32, $40,000 in 18 months. Because you have 5 businesses and you just did the same exact thing. There's a lot of people who have a lot of shelf corporations. A lot of people who are purchasing older businesses for $1,000, $2,000, and now you made 40 grand just because you spent 10 grand up front on a few businesses that you could have obviously made yourself. You can make 10 businesses today for $50 each. $500, you got 10 businesses. 5 years from now, open up an account, 40 grand, boom. For 500 in investment now, but everybody wants the right now. So you're willing to spend $1,000 for a shell account so that you can make that money and listen, it's worth it. Why not? Why not spend $1,000 and get the shell account? But again, I'm the type of person who likes to do it physically, not really take shortcuts. I like to do it the right way. I'm not saying that buying other people's businesses isn't the right way. I'm just saying that I've always done it my way. So I gave you that piece of information. So if you want to buy businesses, you could go ahead and buy businesses. But what I'm doing is I'm running my businesses the way I want to run my businesses. And if I decide I need another businesses, I'm actually already thinking about opening up another business just because I want to be able to protect this business by putting a lien on it from my other business, right? So I'm already thinking about opening up another business as another form of asset protection on this business. And the next book that I will be reading is on asset protection. So it's going to give me even more ideas on how to manage my LLC, my limited liability company, in order to make it as profitable as it can be and as risk diverse as possible. So again, if you got a lot of information in this video, make sure you're rewinding that. Make sure you're watching it all over again, because again, I know that this is a lot of information revolving around business and business credit and how to set things up, right? I understand that completely. So again, if you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You know I post every single day at 8 a.m. daily on YouTube and Rumble, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Peace.